Haven't you over the last 30 fucking years? Well, guess what? Daddy's home. I got some shit to say about it. Um, Predominantly, you people are fucking disgusting. Before we get too far into this, I'm gonna read some Bible verses. I really wish they were from the NKJV, but I guess the ESV will have to fucking do for now. There are 6 things that the Lord hates, 7 that are an abomination to him: haughty eyes, lying tongue, and a hand that sheds innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that make haste to run to evil, a false witness who breathes out lies, and one who sows discord amongst his brethren. Okay. Well, you can check every last one of those fucking boxes over the last 30 years. And all of them have to do with this one fucking asshole who seemed to think that'd be a good idea to pass around fucking little children like their playthings and sacrifices to demonic entities. Yes, I'm referring to Jeffrey Epstein. Having taken a few days to not cover this topic, I decided to weigh in and what I have to say about it. I'm not going to be sitting here naming names. I have a good reason for not doing that, and it's not because, oh, you have a hero that's on that list. Dude, if Trump's in that fucking list as a perpetrator, string him up by a rope and put him in the wood chipper too. I don't fucking care. But I do know that there are some names in there that are not being held accountable, mostly from the monarchy over in Britain. I believe Prince Andrew was amongst the names listed. So yeah, fucking shame on you, asshole. And I know this says Hytale and Disgust. Well, Hytale will come a little bit later. We're going to cover the Disgust first. Just kind of get it out of the way, because this whole debacle, and the reason why I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time actually digging all this shit back up on Twitter again and pulling up the actual files and reading them again, is because last time I did that, I had to do 2 things. Number 1, go out to puke and then have a cigarette shortly afterwards. So, nah, I'm good. The fact that we're here discussing this counted as a miracle. So here's just kind of a brief little recap summary of what I've read and what I've actually had to use Google for Grok, but, AI to summarize some of it and some of the things that I've heard via news and whatever else. We're talking human sacrifice, cannibalism, pedophilia, the kind of homosexuality that would make even the nicest gay American vomit. Worship of false demonic entities that claim themselves as gods. The list just kind of goes on. Oh, and beyond just worship, not just worship of these entities, but sacrifice to them too. Like literal human sacrifice. It's all in the friggin' files. Like, you can't turn a single page without reading something disgusting in this shit. So, the reason why I didn't cover it sooner was simply because of how revolting it was. Really, really, really hard to read. Even the just 100 pages that I read. Yeah, that's right, you heard me, only 100 pages. The rest of what I know came from various news sources, using Grok and Chat GPT to summarize because I just couldn't, it got that bad. Like, if I were to read it out loud, I would need about probably 30 buckets to vomit into. Just to get through, like, reading half, and that's speed reading, half of the 3-something million pages that we got. And it's all disgusting bullshit. It really is. And the worst part about it is that there comes a certain point in the pages that when you get past the court testimonies and stuff like that, and you get into the tip line bullshit, like everything past, like, what was it, 2017 or 2019 on the tip lines, ends up just being a bunch of leftist retards that jump on the fucking tip line to try to blame Trump for shit that happened on the island. And I have an issue with that, and it's not the issue that you're going to think it is. My issue with that being is that in the tip lines prior to, like, 2015, before he announced that he was running for president, he wasn't mentioned once on the tip lines, but afterwards he just got, like, his name was non-stop fucking bombarded to it. So you kind of got to wonder, like, what the actual incentive of this bullshit really was. Like, you can see bullshit for bullshit when you see it. It's like, I hate to use it's like porn, you know it when you see it fucking analogy, but there it is. Basically, anything past 2017 of people calling the Jeffrey Epstein tip line, saying Trump did this, that, or the other thing, 98 to 99 to probably closer to 100% of those are a crock of bullshit. Anything prior to 2015, I would take a very serious hard look at, because anything that predates him coming down that escalator and claiming he's running for president is worthy of attention. Anything after that point is instantly contaminated by partisan bias. And could easily be just some bonehead lefty loon who is just out there trying to stir the shit pot. And that's unfortunately the truth. So you gotta really, really be careful about the tip line section of it. Number one. Number two, that also applies to, like, a lot of other, like, real big personalities that might have enemies one way or the other. Because it becomes an instant attack vector on any sort of business or public office. It basically it's an easy way to assault them without,
Really, any public figure, if somebody wants to tear them down.
Yeah, that's true too. Like, if there's someone that wants to tear you down, anything after you become, like, this massive public figure, the Epstein files are being in them, or being claimed to be in them, or being called into the tip line is literally just a nice way to stir the shit pot and try to make sure that you're like actively smeared with some horrendous bullshit that you probably had nothing to do with. Now, if you were 2000... I'm going to caveat this by saying if you were after 2005 and you flew to that island and you were not an FBI agent or a federal agent of any kind, you have earned the instant eye of suspicion, or as I will call it as a joke, the eye of Sauron, because you need to be looked at with a fine fucking tooth comb. Like, your whole fucking existence does need to be looked over at that point. If it comes out that you're innocent, then hey, whatever, but, like, we're kind of past the point, and I hate to say this because I'm a big fan of due process and justice and all this other shit, right? But, like, this is one of those circumstances. We're talking about the Virgin Isles, right? A place that is kind of... It's gorgeous in its own right, but at the same token, a lot of bad shit can happen there, and the amount of accountability that can be held is very small. And that seems to be the problem that we're running into. Like...
And that was just one of the places.
Yeah. There were other... That's another thing, too. Everyone seems to think, ooh, it's about Epstein's Island. No, it's not. There's a ranch involved. It wasn't Neverland. What did they call that? Oh, God, I was just listening to it today, too. About eugenics and a bunch of other, like, crazy bullshit that he was fucking into. And
I don't know, but what they said, there was, like, 12 different places.
Yeah. Easily.
Maybe more.
So, like, at this point, there's a question to be had about, can you even... Do we even have the resources for holding some of this shit accountable?
The answer to that is no.
Well, not necessarily. The answer is yes, but. And man, is it a big old but. Ellie, get out from under there and quit making racket. The issue is not, can there be accountability held, because the answer to that, unfortunately, in the legal system, largely probably not. With the exception of murder, believe it or not, a lot of these crimes have statute of limitations and jurisdictional issues. And the list kind of goes on. However, that only applies to the United States legal system. Enter the World Court of Crimes, or the International Commission on War Crimes. Here's a fun fact. Killing children and rape of underage individuals can technically be classified in the International Crimes Court, which is...
In the United States, there's no statute of limitations on murder.
No, there is not. But we do have a issue of the fact that it happened on the Virgin Isles, and we may or may not have jurisdiction over that particular region. So, that's always fun. That's sarcasm, by the way. But there are always ways around it. We can absolutely nail every last one of these fuckers if it could be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, which is another issue in and of itself, that they committed these crimes. We could just hold them for crimes against humanity and have them fucking executed at The Hague. Sure. I mean, we do it all. We've done it. I can't count how many Middle Eastern terrorists. Hell, there's probably going to be a terrorist group or two that are going to get a fucking kick out of this. Unfortunately.
Fuck, some of them could have been involved.
Actually, some of them were involved. Enter the Sultan that was just named. Very possibly could have terrorism ties. Not just because he's Middle Eastern, but because he's of influence in the Middle East, rather. He could very well have ties to certain terrorist groups. 100%. That is a very real possibility.
See, I'm not just a pretty face.
But anyway, as to the layer of fucking disgust and why I brought up the Bible verses, well, more specifically the Bible verse that I mentioned in the first place, this whole thing not just the files themselves, but a lot of the human behavior surrounding it. Bearing false witness in either direction, about people either being in the files or not being in the files before we had access to the information. Just as a heads up, I'm not going to fucking excuse a single one of you fuckers for mislabeling any person as being in the files. That means if Trump was in the files and you said he wasn't, guess what? You're a fucking hypocrite. If he wasn't in the files and you said he was, guess what? You're just as fucking guilty. So, I just kind of figured I should make that known. Do not come into my stream or my chat saying, oh, well, he did, blah, blah. I don't fucking care. You little twat waffles kind of did this shit to yourselves. My mercy has reached its fucking limit. And by the way, yes, I'm wearing a Memento Mori shirt today, so buckle up, Buttercup. I need to...
You wear the same shirt you wear every day.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, buckle up, Buttercup. And it's not the same exact shirt, it's the same type of shirt. I have like 10 of these.
I didn't mean like it was the same exact shirt. Jesus Christ. Potato, you...
It's not, it's all potato. Until you realize that context is very important to streaming.
Well, you're not stinky.
So, as to kind of lighten the mood a little bit, as to why I'm playing Hytale, and why this world doesn't look anything like any of the worlds that I made before. So I decided to do a stupid. I was going to check out the pre-release updates, you know, as they drop, instead of waiting for them to drop as a whole. Fun fact, when they say you should really duplicate your worlds, you really should. You know those little 3x3 make the image puzzle things, and you get like the little ring things out of it, and it's just kind of a fun little what the hell.
Newsflash, Derek did a stupid.
Well, so my world corrupted in such a way that it was unplayable. Like, I was stranded like 1,000 feet in the air on one of them. My kick world got just completely decimated. So I had to kind of restart. But in the spirit of me restarting, I'm restarting what I think is kind of the right way to do it. Like, I've overtaken the portal to the statue area. I'm turning it into like my home base. This way I don't have to.
Oh, excuse me. Ellie.
This way I don't have to keep running back to the portal every time I want to go unlock more memories, or once they actually start adding the market system in here like they should. So I'm going to get back into the whole Epstein thing now that I've covered the corruption of all of my Hytale worlds, which, as to why I picked Hytale for this, it's a very chillax game that can kind of keep me somewhat on the level, given the nature of just the fucking filth and disgusting that has become the human race at this point in my mind. One of the more disgusting stories, and this is alleged, I'm not sure how true this actually is that they actively ripped out the intestines out of someone and ate the fecal matter as part of some disgusting ritual.
I was just gonna eat.
Sorry. I told you it was one of the more disgusting stories out of this thing, and I wasn't kidding.
Next time don't cover it at supper time.
Maybe you should have eaten with the rest of us. I'm getting the death glare, by the way.
I had a difficult day. I'll eat when I damn well feel like it.
So, I'm going to actually go from you're gonna see me in this stream go from being the positive, good-mannered Christian who maybe cusses, swears when he's playing games and just kind of has a good time, to actually doing something that's not very... Actually, it is very biblically sound when it comes to stuff like this. You've just been catered into a false sense of naivete about what it means to be a true Christian. This shit is heresy and should be treated as it used to be back during the fucking Crusades. We need to hang these fucking people upside down and slit their fucking throats. I said it. I said this shit that no one wants to fucking say. If you're found to be absolutely fucking guilty of this shit, death is too good for you. But I want solid fucking evidence. I don't want to... I also am a firm believer in what Benjamin Franklin said about trial and judgment. That it's better to let one scumbag go free than... it's better to let 100 scumbags go free than to kill one innocent man. I do still agree with Benjamin Franklin on that. That being said, if we let you free and we find out that you're a scumbag after the fact, oh, it's game on, motherfucker. Okay, babe. And while I am not usually one to cry for mob justice or blah 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 blah, at this point in time, I'm going to fall to my gut, which could potentially get me banned on a platform or two. Much to the sheer joy of some people. If you think you're going to skate on this shit, while we can't execute people based off of the court of public opinion, and I'm glad we can't, believe me, you don't want that. Mob rule and mob justice is not a way to handle these issues. I kind of feel like, personally, we've gotten to the point where if you're on the list, and I'm not calling for sedition or anything like that, there is actually a section for Secret Service agents to deal with and handle presidents who've gone rogue, who have actively violated the Constitution and, like, in a Supreme Court, have been found to try to usurp the seat of the presidency against the will of the people, especially the people who voted for them. Yeah, well, cheese might be a loaf of milk, but that's not the topic of today's thing, and my God, I wish it was. I'm getting to the point of wishing that the hang 'em high attitude could be adopted. And it's just because, like, the more this happens, like, yes, it's horrific shit. But the more this shit happens, the more people keep covering it in the news media, the more it looks like a distraction, and the more I'm sitting here wondering, if the distraction is this fucking horrific, what are you distracting us from? Jesus. Yeah, that's no good. Prayers for you, though. Oh, sweet, an Aussie. So, when I say if they're on the list, feed them to the Crocs, you'll probably know what I mean then. Yeah, this is more just catharsis after puking in a bucket. So, settings are kind of off the table. I didn't even get... I literally didn't even get, like, just over 100 pages into those fucking files before it was head in a bucket and just heaving my guts out. It was bad. It literally was one of those things where I was happy to use AI to summarize because it was bad. I don't doubt that it's not a mod, my dude. I just kind of dicking around on here tonight. Kind of recovering some stamina, so to speak. And getting some shit off my chest. That's funny. Yeah, that's hilarious, actually. Oh, where did that performance spike come from? I hate that. Hey, I haven't actually been here yet. Did I pack any arrows this time? Nope. Okay. Oh, there's an acre of these guys. Yep. So, yeah, I would not recommend reading the Epstein files to anyone. I wish I hadn't. Just like this small portion that I have has permanently fucking corrupted my brain to thinking that majority of fucking humanity is trash because of just how bad this shit really was. The world should never... It was biblically bad. Like, Book of Revelations and Old Testament bad. So... streaming's not that bad.
He says it's streaming.
Don't forget your dinner's in the microwave.
I know, when I get off the phone I'll eat, but I'm on the phone with Auntie Reed.
Hi, Auntie Ree.
Hi, Auntie Reed. He said hi, Jared.
Easier to get that stuff during the day. I would say damn these people to hell, but in my mind, hell would be too good for them. At this point in time. In fact, I'd argue that floating through space alone in the frozen void, locked in your own fucking mind, would be still a mercy compared to what they deserve. So, oh, there's what I need right there. Get back here. Okay. Man, talk about sucking at a game tonight. Jeez. A little bit of water paralysis doesn't hurt. The other problem I have with the whole Epstein thing is there is no prison sentence, death penalty, like, none of it's good enough. And it'll never be good enough. Ever. So the question is, what do we do? If our current punishments are not good enough. Like, I'd say even torture wouldn't be good enough. Torture straight to death over the course of months would not be good enough for these fucking people. It does beg the question, what do you do? Like, we're talking about shit that you like. To quote Krieg from Borderlands 2, I'm gonna put pain in your soul, kind of thing. You know, what happens when that's not good enough? Like, what happens when the crimes are so fucking bad that you're never going to find a punishment on the books or even off the books that's going to fit the crime? Then what? I want that bucket. It does kind of beg the question. And I hate to be the 2019 Hellboy here, but... And then what? Because here's the biggest problem with all of this, right? Like, I could sit here and scream up and down and demand to pike a friggin' giant metal rod up each and every one of their asses and put them out in front of the fucking Hague like Vlad the fucking Impaler. But it still doesn't fix what they fucking have done. And it never will. Now, I'm not trying to justify or pull that naivete, tacit bullshit. No. Fuck it. If someone can come up with something that seems like bad enough, fucking do it. Death by 1,000 cuts, throwing some lemon juice and some fucking salt and some batteries and jumper cables. Whatever you gotta do. It's just... like... my concern is... it won't be enough. Like, not even just like the Hague or the world governments or those in authority, but like humanity as a whole. We need to stand up as a united front and say, fuck no, this is completely unfucking acceptable. We will not allow this on our fucking planet, kind of thing. And before any smart-ass atheist wants to get in here and say, oh, you're just saying that because religious purposes, blah... No. Go read them. Go fucking read them. Come back to me when you've actually read through 100 pages of it. And it doesn't even have to be from the beginning. Just, like, pick apart, you know? I can almost guarantee you it's probably just as bad in the middle and in the end as it is in the beginning. So... you know, no. It's not even like a Christian thing at this point. It's a human thing. So yeah, it's just a human thing, and there will be some pedo defender coming in here at some point, I'm sure, saying they're still human too. To which my response is, no, the fuck they're not. Get the fuck out of my chat before the right people see you commenting. Because as a general rule, I generally don't promote, you know, bullying and harassment and all that shit. Mostly because of platform rules, but, like, you come in here with that bullshit, and, you're a fair fucking game, my dude. No, you defend a pedophile, you can hang with him as far as I'm concerned. Like, absolute no fucking mercy. And, by the way, fun fact, and I can actually get away with saying this, if Donald Trump's on the fucking list, his ass can go too. My wood chipper does not know political boundaries. It has no political leanings, so... yeah. That being said, the only mentions that I've seen thus far and have read of in summary from the AIs that have gone over this stuff repeatedly is largely that he was basically the snitch. Well, you can't snitch on a chomo, but he was the voice who actively got him fucking arrested in the first place, according to what I understand of it. So. a lot of shit's been circulating on Twitter that says, oh, he was involved, look at this. After doing a little bit of research, a lot of that shit is fake. So you kind of got to be very careful where you get your information. The reason I don't like pulling stuff off of Twitter and claiming it as fact, I'll pull it as like reference material to public talking points or whatever, but you can't take Twitter seriously as any sort of fact at all. I know it sucks. It'd be so great if we could, because, you know, then anything that anyone says is fair game, including going after the Krasensteins for their own stupid BS. But the problem with social media platforms like Twitter is your verification as to the person actually holding the device and doing the thing is just like, it's an honor system, right? Like, there's no way to verify who's holding the device and actually doing the typing. You could sit there and say, oh, what passwords? Or if you didn't get your security right, that's your fault. That's true, but it still doesn't change the point. Being that, you know, if you're stupid enough to get caught with your pants down, and your security sucks, you know, it doesn't change the fact that if your security sucks and you're a public figure, well, technically speaking, anyone could go out there and claim to be whoever and do a thing. Which brings me to the whole Fortnite thing. I have done very limited research on that, but there are some stories coming out that claim that it is the account. I'm not sure as to the veracity of these claims. If it's Jeffrey Epstein's actual account or whatever. I will say that some of the stuff connected to it is suspicious as hell. It is. Like, and the worst part about this is, by the way, if it's not Epstein, then it could be someone who has hacked his handle, and doing some ghoulish bullshit just for fucking lulz. Another unfortunate internet trend that is entirely in the realm of possibility, and we all know it. Unfortunately, the internet, while a marvel of modern communication, does occasionally invite the occasional troll who will find some sort of grim or disgusting event and will capitalize on it in some way, shape, or form, even if it means they had to hack an account for something. Because they think it's fucking hilarious, and it's not. It's actually kind of gross. And by all means, if this person is doing that and they get caught, throw the fucking book at them. Like, this is not inappropriate, that kind of shit. The problem is that the internet is chock full of this subculture of perverse and pervasive people with personality disorders that think that nothing is fucking sacred ever, at all. And it's a problem because, and I can say this because I used to be one of the people who did not commit a crime per se by doing some of the shit that I did, but the fact that Jeffrey Epstein got fucking banned from Xbox Live is kind of like that really amusing, how the hell did he manage to do that prior to 2015? Because we're talking about, like, the Wild West of Xbox Live, right? Like, it was very hard to get banned. Kind of interesting how that coincides. Kind of wonder if there's a little bit of play between the two events. And if there is, then, you know, In that case, I hope Jeffrey Epstein is still alive so I can hang him myself. For fucking up what was a very glorious time of freedom of speech and just, like, hazing galore. If he's the reason that we lost that, then, where are he at? Because me and my friends used to do it to each other all the time. Constant. Oh, it was constant with us. Like, we'd, and when I say, when I say what I have said, you need to understand that amongst my friend group back in, like, prior to 2013, 2014, no amount of sick and disgusting content and jokes was off the table. Necrophilia jokes and hazing each other and calling each other necrophiliacs was just another day at the office for us. So, it wasn't true. None of it was true. We all knew it wasn't, and that's why we got away with fucking with each other on it. But, like, it's just the whole point that back then, things weren't this hold your hand mamby-pamby bullshit that we have today. And I do mean that in both the worst possible way and the best possible way. Look, I will outright say that this new era of spinelessness and lack of ability of people to fuck around and have fun and just say whatever the fuck they want and not give a shit on the Xbox, it cuts both ways. I think it's a bad thing. I also think it's a good thing that they can't. Especially in light of the file dump. I think this individual, a lot of people have claimed, oh, he's still alive, and all the photos that they have to prove it are AI generated, so, I mean, until someone actually arrests him, drags him before a DNA test, and possibly a dental fucking cross-examination to match his dental records, then kindly fuck yourself. I'm not going after the little field mouse. I can't stand mice in real life, but, you know. Actually, that's a lie. I like mice. Mice are cute, but the problem is, they get into shit. They make a mess. They're not sanitary. It's just, they're not compatible with human life as a general rule. Courtesy the Black Plague. Oh, punishment for, not putting the blocks in right. No, this is not a, oh, I'm doing this to be as quick as possible. This is a old man with a rake in a sand garden thing. So, someday, I really do pray that some actual justice comes out of this. And, by the way, Trump's mishandling in the Epstein files, yeah, kinda, dude, if I could address the president directly, I'd say, yeah, you really fucked that one up. Calling them a hoax and all this other shit, you screwed up. Kinda, you really should just own it and move on. But, I mean, that being said, if the Epstein files are the distraction and how heinous they are for the files, and I've seen this theory tossed around on Twitter, both left and right, with how heinous they really are. How bad's the shit you're trying to distract us from? So, if that's what this is, like, if you're using something of that caliber as a distraction agent, like, what you're after has got to be, like, akin to world domination or someone attempting world domination, right? Like, it's not... You're not just gonna sit here and pull some, like, Phineas and Ferb. Oh, Dr. Doofenshmirtz is just gonna flood this little blah blah blah. No. No, that's not good enough. Sorry. We're past that point. You passed that juncture a long freaking time ago. You better not chew the shit out of this. Yeah, you fucking did. Great. I'm gonna have to dig up a fucking charging cord for my mouse. And I have no fucking idea where it is. That's alright. This stream is not gonna drag on too long tonight. I have an 8 o'clock background check interview for something that'll get me paid. And I have some grocery shopping to do in the morning. As to my political leanings, they're still the same. The conservative values are still there. And to answer every fucking liberal who's going to get in here and think, well, what about what Trump did? Well, I don't care. Trump may have been the face of the MAGA movement for a while. He may have introduced it and founded it, but that doesn't mean that it dies with his reputation going down the toilet or him, you know. The man could die tomorrow, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the movement has to stop. And it's not going to stop, because you're still going to have people like me out there telling people that, you know, being a leftist loon is not okay. And it's just the way the cookie crumbles. So. Like, the movement is more than just Donald. The movement is every single friggin' conservative that aligns with the same ideals that make America great again and make America healthy again stand for. You're not gonna dismantle that by getting rid of one man. That's not how that works. And you know what? Small ass creator here, but I'm gonna call flag or foul on something that I heard Tim Pool say about Civil War. You know what? There doesn't need to be a Civil War. What there needs to be is a nationwide come to Jesus moment. And with the Epstein files, I think it presents an opportunity for us all to kind of have that. Like, there is a certain catharsis to, you know, there are people in the files that you didn't want to have in the files. Okay, let's say, again, Tom Brady, I don't have a problem with you. I'm using you as an example only. This is a hypothetical. But, like, if you're a major sports fan and you find out that, like, Tom Brady or whoever's in the files, instead of screaming up and down that, you know, he's not, blah, 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 maybe it'd be a good time to come to terms with why you feel the way that you do. Like, why do you have to defend someone who's actively been identified as being on the list and at the island and diddling kids and doing satanic bullshit. If you're at the point where you are like verbally to yourself or to others defending people for any of those activities or any of the activities mentioned as being part of being on said island, instead of screaming "Ree" in the corner and saying your guy's just as bad, your guy's just as bad, maybe take a minute and realize that we don't have a guy, we have someone who we voted for because we were told that they do certain things. And he's not quote unquote our guy so much as he is someone, again, that we voted for as a useful idiot in our own little fucking strategies for trying to better our lives for ourselves and our families. And if you start thinking that your politician is your guy, maybe that's part of the problem. For example, and I'm going to get into the SAVE Act here in just a moment too, because it's on my hit list of shit to talk about. The SAVE Act. If you don't know what that is, I'm going to step off camera but continue to chat. The SAVE Act is voter identification presented at the federal level. I believe, as a person who wants a secure election, that it should fucking happen. I think that the fact that it hasn't happened as of late yet is a fucking disgrace to both the Republic and the democratic principles that we hold dear that are fundamental to our Republic. That's right. You just heard it come from a conservative's mouth that we are a democratic republic, or a republic of democracies. And if you have people defrauding or despoiling your country by lying about where they're from, for example, this is just an example, they are from Nicaragua, and they're claiming to be from New Jersey, and they're voting in New Jersey, guess what?
And then she apologized.
You have a problem.
Last time, but I think I asked you that already, but she thought she was going to ask me it one other time.
In fact, you are the problem.
That was the fourth time.
Hey, that fits.
So,
Perfect. Work. I did, and then we started to clean. I don't know where they ended up. Oh.
Alright, shall I let you go then? I love you. Thank you.
So,
Thank you. Actually, I can help you go to the
just gonna raise the point here. I installed 32 gigs of RAM. Why is Hytale taking almost 16 gigs? Woof. Come on, guys. Down tilt some of the RAM consumption, please, Simon. Oh, water. Oh. Lemon water, actually. Okay, I need Warudo. Because apparently my getting up decalibrated media pipe. So yeah, the catharsis was in leveling out all this land. I'm going to actively be turning this into farming territory and potential shenanigans. We'll say shenanigans. Shenanigans are good. So there's a question that was asked of me by a friend and family member as to why I don't cover modern events, why I don't cover the news, why I don't do pick a thing. Okay, well, number one, we'll start out with the obvious. It's my channel. I cover what I say I'm going to cover or don't cover, right? But number two, and this has just kind of become like in light of recent events kind of thing, there's something to be said for purposefully not covering certain events. The Jeffrey Epstein thing, yeah, nah, that's one of those things that I think from now on I'm not going to be covering because I made the mistake of reading the shit. Like, God, I wish I could rally up some permission from somebody. For doing React content on, like, the news stuff, covering this stuff, because, like, I have plenty of shit I can say about it, but I don't want to read it, I don't want to see it, I don't want anything to do with it outside of reacting to the news of it, because, like, even that is almost a bridge too far for me. So, being able to change the priority on here would be great. Just like a button that we can do that with. Now on to a little bit more of a less disgusting topic. The SAVE Act. Senator Susan Collins. Calling you out by name. By name. And there's a reason. I am related and or friends of and to approximately half of the districts that you need to win your next election. Vote in the affirmative for the SAVE Act, or I'm going to make it my personal fucking business to discuss with other people who are voters in your election districts as to leaving the Senate portion of their ballots blank. Unless you do. And bear in mind we're a state of about 315,000 active eligible voters that I'm aware of. So you losing even a single county would be massively detrimental. In fact, while we're on the topic, I'm going to actually pull up the main eligible voting population as of 2024.
I have to register in this town.
Alright, so Maine's active voting age was over 1 million. So you've got 900, as of 2024, you have 948,734. Imagine losing 10, 15,000 votes. Just saying, that wouldn't be too good for you. You know, considering only 279,000 of them, again, as of 2024, were Republican votes. Yeah, population, Oxford County, Maine.
What, Oxford County?
We're not. 577. So if you kind of take a guess that about 25% of those don't vote, you're still looking at about 35-ish thousand people that could easily be swayed to either not vote at all or to leave the Senate portion of their ballot blank. Let's go to Androscoggin County, the other county that I am directly connected to. 115,000.
I'm connected to Somerset.
So even like 10% of that is a massive blow to your voting totals. Maybe smarten the fuck up, vote to pass the fucking SAVE Act alongside the rest of the Republicans that actually seem to have some common fucking sense. I know, Republicans actually pulling together and having some fucking form of common sense. It's a rare fucking thing. But, you know, don't be the idiot that's left out on the friggin' dirt. Smarten up. This is one of those times that you're going to want to vote with the party. Because it will definitely cost you in the long run. And I will make sure it will cost you your Senate seat. So. And I'm not the only one, by the way. As soon as it gets out that you voted no on the SAVE Act and you voted against integrity in our elections and, you know, honesty and transparency in our election processes, by having voter ID, you're toast. Just in general, you're toast. I will make sure that the Republican platforms themselves have no choice but to distance themselves from you. By the time I'm done, you will be an albatross to the party.
You're not alone.
And I'm not the only one. So, you know. Also, food for thought, because it's not just about intimidation, it's also about offering up facts of the matter. And the fact of the matter is, every time someone votes illegally, it cancels out the vote of someone who voted legally. So, for both parties' sake, you need to vote in the affirmative on this again, or we'll make you fucking feel it by taking your job.
Can I ask a question?
Go for it.
When they take out a vote to squash the illegal vote, is it random?
So, here's the thing. When an illegal vote happens, right? Mm-hmm. It cancels out a vote that voted in the opposite direction. So, let's say I voted for Trump, which I did. But the Democrats paid an illegal caravan to bring in 30,000 random yahoos from pick a country that's not America, right? Like, we could even say
Guatemala.
We could even say Britain, for shit's sake, just for shits and grins, right? Because it doesn't matter where they're from. That vote that was that was done by someone who was not born here, is not a citizen here, was not even naturalized through the legal process here, invalidates my vote and the vote of 299,999 other people just by the fact that they're not here legally. They are breaking the law by being here in the first place, and somehow they are voting in our elections because we don't have a voter ID cross-check, which, by the way, we are the only country on the face of the earth that is not a third world, like, warlord-run hellhole that doesn't use voter ID. We are the only one.
The only democratic country.
No, like, there are literally third world hellholes that use voter ID. Some form of voter identification. Yeah.
I'm just saying anyone that has a democratic election.
Yeah. There are even undemocratic elections that have voter identification. They use it for other purposes, but the point is that they still have it. We do not.
I didn't know they had voters in those countries.
So those countries, to appear friendly to NATO, they have what we call, and I'm using air quotes here, elections. They're
the equivalent of the mock elections in school.
They're yes, basically yes. It's the equivalent of the school lunch lady asking people to vote on pizza and or meatloaf, knowing full damn well that it's just going to be fucking pizza because it's all that she has left.
More likely than meatloaf.
Yeah. The reality there being is that it just gives you the illusion of choice to placate some outside force to keep them from being, invaded and overrun by, like, NATO or some shit like that.
Remember, your school, my school was...
Well, there again, back in Alaska when we had meatloaf, it was meatloaf that was made using fucking moose meat. It was the good shit. So, the credibility of those elections in general is just not even, it's a little bit beyond question. It's just a joke. But at the same token, even those elections, the joke ones, have voter ID. And yet, for some reason, we fucking don't. So, if a third world hellhole can do it, why the fuck can't we? Well, funny story, actually. Many years ago, Democrats were all for voter identification, right? Republicans were kind of here nor there on it. It was just kind of a tacit issue that wasn't really an issue at the time. The reason it's an issue now is because you have one party that wants to use the vote to try to cement, single party rule over the whole country, and I do mean the Democrats when I say that. Because of their liberal leftist bullshit, the stuff that pushed you from being, people like you from being what I would call casually or classically liberal into being conservative, according to the new labelings. The people that made that happen want control of the country so they can turn it into their socialist utopia, which is just going to turn the country into a hellscape. Most of them, by the way, don't even know what socialism actually is. And if they did, they'd be backpedaling so fucking fast, it would almost be fucking hilarious to watch. So yeah, there's definitely that. Okay, the map is going to be an interesting loading process. So you kind of can't really reason with these people when they have the intelligence of a literal, rock. They just do what they're told by the media. So yeah. Oh, I gotta garden every bit of this and turn it into farms and... Needless to say, that is one thing that I will definitely be handling off stream. And there's a good reason for it. Okay, so if I've calculated correctly... this will pull from the chests over there. So if I put a... but the problem I have with Tim Pool's perspective on the whole Civil War thing was it really... he wants to scream Civil War, Civil War, Civil War. And, like, almost any time there's even the appearance of conflict, he's gonna Chicken Little and run to the whole Civil War thing. I swear to God, he does it all the time. Is he right on some things? Yeah, for the most part, but any, like, come on. When mommy and daddy are having an argument, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be a fist thrown. Sorry, but that's just reality. Sometimes an argument is just an argument. It's not a fist fight. That being said, we have been kind of trending towards political violence courtesy of the left for quite some time, and yes, wearing the Punisher shirt, the Memento Mori, and sitting here saying this shit is kind of counterintuitive. But hear me out. They assassinated Charlie Kirk. They tried to assassinate Donald Trump. We haven't done a fucking thing yet because we are trying to maintain a high ground that a lot of us are starting to wonder whether it even really exists anymore. Does that mean we're going to start calling for violence and doing all this other shit? No. And here's where the difference lies. The left, they're loud. They do shit. Right? You won't hear us coming. No, we're not going to show you our mesh networks. We're not going to show you how we communicate because, to be honest with you, it's none of your fucking business. Our ham radio networks, mesh networks, and all that shit, it's literally none of your fucking business. Put plain and simple, we have to operate on the precept that none of this is your fucking business. Because whether you want to admit it or not, the fact that you're a member of the news media kind of puts you solidly in the camp of useful idiot at best, active enemy at worst. Like, and I hate to say that because I actually really like Tim Pool. And I don't think he's anyone's enemy so much as he'd probably run off and blab all this shit out of some journalistic bullshit. And it's just kind of stupid to give someone with that kind of media presence critical operations information that he really doesn't need to fucking know. And there again, there's something to be said for community. When you live in a red county, a lot of people who live in red counties know this for a fact. If you have a ham radio community in your county, if you have a mesh network community in your county, if you have any sort of communications or communicative network amongst people in your county, the second you pick up that communication method and say, I'm being attacked, help, you're gonna end up with an army of rednecks and even some blue Democrat, people showing up being like, hey, Farmer Bill, we just heard something about you being attacked on the ham. What the hell's going on here? It's gonna get settled pretty fucking quick. And that's just the reality of it. That's one of the benefits of being in a small community, is you don't need international mesh network bullshit. You just need good neighbors, and you need to have a friend network. And generally speaking, most of us have that.
Has Ellie been fed today?
Huh?
Has Ellie been fed today?
Yes, fed her this morning.
Looked empty, so I didn't know.
Oh yeah, no. She I've been feeding her in the morning, so she kind of poops throughout the day. That way we don't have a pile to clean up in the middle of the night and you step in it.
Or Graham stepped in it?
Or Graham steps in it. So.
I'm walking around and put it back.
Or
you step in it.
Yeah, I've done that too. That's why my boots are over by the door. So I do kind of have to push back a little bit on what Tim Pool said about, oh, the right doesn't have blah, blah, blah. We don't need it. We don't need it. We haven't needed that kind of shit at all. And we've proven that that kind of shit's not necessary. Because it's not. It's helpful, but it's not necessary. The right does not need foreign influence and foreign money coming in to aid us. We just don't need it. We don't need it the same way the left does, because we're a legitimate operation of civilians that can and will band together if the conditions are right. The problem that you're seeing, and the reason that you're not seeing this happen, is because we're weighing the consequences of doing such a thing. And I'm going to be honest here, and this is going to sound kind of sick, and it's going to sound really bad for someone who's a big fan of him to say this, is the death of Charlie Kirk worth going to civil war over? In the mind of most conservatives, no. No, it is not. In the mind of most normal people, no, it's not. It's a tragedy, but it is not worth killing our neighbors or potential, our potential future neighbors over. It is not worth it. And you're going to sit there and say, well, that's your weakness, blah, blah, blah. And to which my response is, no, it's our strength. And if you weren't so fucking black-pilled, you'd see that. It's not a weakness, it is a strength to value human life enough to not want to go to war with your fucking neighbor. And the basic understanding of that is should be pretty present and very much available to anyone paying attention. Also, I'm going to point out, I haven't had to lift a finger, nor has any other Republican or conservative individual. Really, we haven't had to. And yet, they're still losing. Sentiment toward the left is not improving. In fact, it's rapidly fucking declining. So maybe there's a good lesson to be had about let your enemy hang themselves kind of thing. Kind of a good point, good strategy is if your enemy is digging their own grave, why stop them? Again with the light leather. And also, there is a Twitter thing I wanted to cover, actually. This is a general Twitter user interface thing. This is not a, Okay, here we go. Do not give Discord your ID. This is another issue I intended to cover too, but that might be a tomorrow thing. Okay. We're going to go over the basics of Twitter for just a moment. You've got your views here, right? You've got your likes, your reposts, and your comments. You'll notice, and this is true for a lot of Twitter posts, a lot of X posts, Blue Sky, Facebook posts, they all have this sort of mechanism, right? You're going to have billions of views, right? And your comments are going to be ground level, dirt low. Your reposts are going to be the next highest number, and typically speaking, your likes will be the next highest number. If these two numbers, if your likes and your comments, if those numbers are inverted, meaning your comments, or your replies rather, are higher than your likes by a factor of, like, any, you're getting ratioed into the dirt. That means that's a bad thing, typically. Or maybe you said something that's true but unpopular, and all your comments are just like, agreed, but I don't fucking like it kind of thing. Right? That's like best case scenario for that, by the way. So, in the case of don't give Discord your ID, it's because Discord has turned into this moderation platform where they want your facial ID or some sort of government-sponsored ID before you can use their platform in any sort of, like, real capacity beyond what they'd allow a friggin' 13, 14, 15-year-old, right? Which isn't much. And by the way, you could, say the wrong phrase too many times and end up, being declared an adult-only server on Discord. I don't like Discord because of all the issues that were presented beforehand. Like they're being hacked, information being leaked, etc., etc., etc. It's just not worth using it. I'll take my chances with the Xbox system. As much as I don't really care for Bill Gates right now, given his connections with Epstein. And I know I'm kind of mispronouncing his name at this point because I've said it so fucking much. It's Ep as an EP, Stein, not EB as an Eb. I've been pronouncing it Eb. I'm aware of that. Anyway, so my issue with people trying to gauge large-scale social uprisings or events using a system like Twitter or Facebook is simply that it's not a reliable metric. Okay? Keyboard warriorism is kind of like my specialty, but also knowing my community and knowing my surroundings is too. And I can tell you right now, I might be a fat fucking keyboard warrior, but that doesn't mean that the 30 rednecks that live on my fucking road, all of which are at least as heavily armed as I am and armored as I am, doesn't mean that they're as fat. So maybe, don't judge every conservative based off of your own understanding. There's Bible verse about that too, by the way. Lean not on your own understanding. So, and I'm going to use a Transformers phrasing here. There's always more than meets the eye in this country. Do not count on what you see on the surface. We don't need CIA level operations training. Because it's just not required. Mind the noise. Dog's got the zoomies. Zoomy, zoomy, zoomy. Zoomy, zoomy. Oh, she's actually trying to climb up on me. Oh, really? No. So, that's kind of my grasp on the situation and my kind of piece of advice. Never, ever, ever judge a group of people based off of what you see on the surface. Which can go both ways, by the way. A lot of conservatives out there calling these liberals retards and jokes and, you know, I mean, realistically, are kind of a joke, but, never underestimate a fool with a sword and their ability to do destructive things with it. Because while I do agree that a majority of what the left is doing now, number one, I think it's entirely performative. The second, it proves to be that the biggest thing that I think people need to remember is a lot of these people are paid crisis actors. The second the paycheck stops rolling in, these people just disappear into the fucking wind anyway. So there's that. But there's also the notion of, like, how do I want to put this? That's not the right rock. Okay, then I guess I'm just gonna have to go get some wood. People need to stop trying to overestimate or underestimate every person on the planet. There's a certain degree of understanding that comes from just taking a step back and realizing your position. And sitting here screaming that everyone who votes for a Democrat is a libtard. You know, majority of people who vote for Democrats don't actually put themselves in a position to study policy positions in the first place. So, like, they wouldn't know the policy position of Andrew Yang, for example. They wouldn't know the policy positions of... They don't even know or care to know the policy positions of Donald Trump. Because, like, they just know that they're against Trump. That's all that they need to know, right? Like, they're literally that level of robot. They have no conscious thought of their own. Their awareness of themselves is so friggin' low, it's actively pathetic. Don't even think about it. That is a poncho that is not your bed. It's already been victimized by one species of four-legged fuzzy. But no, just like the general lack of self-awareness by the left is kind of funny. I know it's an odd aesthetics choice, but am I doing this the hard way? Ta-da. There we go. That's all the doors and all the entrances are kind of sealed off, and actually kind of looks pretty nice. This big old open farm field on top of the portal to the other place guarded by a golem. You know, if he spawns in the same place, I have an idea. So he said, like, right there. Ellie, leave the cat alone. I think I have this precisely calculated. But, yeah, so off stream, I'm gonna turn this into a massive, like, wheat farm or whatever. For now, this is just gonna be it. What would I like to see as far as the Epstein thing goes? Like, what would I actually like to see happen? I'd like to see evidence, and I mean more than just, like, testimony or some sort of witness BS. I'd like to see actual, like, physical evidence and the people that are involved. Like, if there's a videotape of them doing something and it's not altered, that is evidence. The people in the video, and they're doing something in the video, like actively committing a crime in the video, 100% nail the bastards. Right? Like, no mercy. None. Proof is in the pudding, honey. Yeah, you did something bad to a kid, and you got caught doing it on a video. You're done. You know? No more of this mercy for scumbags thing. That the left seems to have been. Kind of gotta wonder whether there was about that too. Like, there's a reason why they were trying to turn the justice system into illegal, you can get away with anything that you do kind of hellhole. Because, like, it almost seems like they were doing this shit for a long time. Like, they were grooming the system to be ready for it, kind of thing. So, that's kind of something to consider too. I'm not saying it's 100% true, it's just my own private little conspiracy theory. Until someone actually does the fact checking on it, I'm not going to say that it's true. But it would be something to look into for sure. But I think that's going to be a wrap for tonight. I got an interview first thing in the morning, like 8 o'clock in the morning kind of thing. And I don't want to be doing this all night. So maybe on a night that I don't have a lot to do, we can have a conversation about doing a late night stream like that. But right now, no bueno. If you like the content, hit the like and subscribe buttons. Share it amongst your friends. And I'll